Red, green. Gruel. We will be building a red-green Brawl deck on Arena. Red-green is the last color pair for me to be drawn to. Like, of all the color pairs, it was the one I was least excited about. And today I found inspiration to make a red-green deck. See how it goes. Push me out of my comfort zone. We're still picking our commander. I have no idea what I want it to be. I kind of want it to be something obscure. Like, I don't see a lot of other people play. Like Phylath, I see people play. I see this one a lot. Arlen, I see. Tovolar's popular. Samut, Vizier of Nactamon. 3 mana. First strike, vigilance, and haste for 2/3. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, if that creature entered the battlefield this turn, draw a card. I love this one. Ooh. Ooh, this one is exciting. Okay, we have found the commander. Samut, Vizier of Nactamon. Alright, I like it a lot. It's aggressive, it's fast. When I'm playing like a mono red deck, that's pretty much what I'm doing. Like just fast creatures. Try to just eliminate the player before they get set up. Now we have green as an ally. So I think we can work with that strategy. Let's look at our gold cards first. And I know there was already a couple things that I was interested in adding as just cards in the deck. Great card. Great card. Seems like it fit well. Adds to the aggressive, let's get in and attack. I like it. I liked this one. I don't think I'm going to be going for the landfall thing. Like, this is good, like, even just when the one time happens. I'm not looking for multiple landfall triggers here as the primary thing that the deck does. I mean, there'll probably be some in here, but it's not going to be overwhelming. I like this one, but we'll see how many cards Agatha will synergize with. I try to shoot for 10. That number is flexible, but I want it to see, like if I put in a card like this, I want it to see like about 10% of the deck, at least, to justify putting it in. So if we start to see a lot of activated abilities, we'll come back to this one. Target creature you control and up to one other target legendary creature you control. Each deal damage equal to their power to target creature you don't control. You know what I'd rather run than that? It's Act of Treason. Okay, so instead of destroying their creature, I would rather just gain control of it till the end of the turn and hit them with it. So, knowing I like to do that rather than removing their creatures directly, let's put in a few of these. The question is how many? If that creature entered the battlefield this turn. Okay. So it would have to have entered the battlefield. So these aren't going to see things that entered the battlefield. So they're not going to directly synergize, but they will be there to remove blockers out of the way, and then we just beat them up with their own creature. One less blocker. and 1 additional threat. Time and again, I have seen the value in these kind of spells. All right, so that gives us 1, 2, 3 gain control spells. I want to round it out to 5. Bloody Betrayal. It's 4. This one costs 5 for a vanilla effect, but it could also be a land if we need it. Well, right now I am for trying new things. Why not? I might end up liking it. This one does kind of a little bit of everything. Okay, we can get a blocker out of the way with the fight mechanic. Then the next turn we're ramping and making something bigger. And then on the final ability, we are gaining some life back. The thing about sagas is sometimes the timing doesn't line up perfectly. But this one for 2 mana, I feel like it's going to be worth a slot in the deck. We'll see how it goes. 2 mana for 3/3 just by itself, I love the value. If we get that upside at some point in the game, cool. But I like the just 3/3 for 2 mana. For that same reason, I like the Myglaws, 3 mana for 4/4. That for most turns, it's likely going to be a Vigilance and Menace. So what else is this deck doing? Okay, so it's going to attack in with hasty creatures. We get that. Of importance here, Samote does not give my other creatures haste. So I need to have some haste enablers or just hasty creatures. Okay, let's count that as 1 haste enabler. 2 haste enablers. Okay, so we have 2 haste enablers so far. I want to aim for 6 to 8. And if it's on a creature like this, that's even better. That's even better because I'm getting like 2 for 1. It's giving me the haste on my other creatures, and it's a creature in itself that can get in for damage. Let's just go ahead and type in the word haste. I like this one. It gives first strike and haste for 1 red mana. Temporary. But again, it's only 1 red mana. Another haste enabler helps grow the creature too. For 1 red mana. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains haste until end of turn and can't be blocked by walls this turn. Venture into the dungeon. I have really enjoyed using this card. Oh, on that note, I was looking at the ability here, Chapter 2. When you cast your next creature spell this turn, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. For 1 red mana, it got me thinking there is a similar green card, but I find so much more value out of it. Drop the word haste. I love this card. It's probably my favorite green 1-drop. The pup. Here it is. Tenacious Pup. 1 green. It is a 1/2 wolf. When Tenacious Pup enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. When you cast your next creature spell, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter, trample counter, and vigilance counter on it. Yes. Yes, that card is so good. That Tenacious Pup. What a great card. If I were doing a tier ranking for 1-drops, this is S tier. Absolutely S tier in my books. For a 1-drop green little creature that does more to it. Oh, it's so good. It's a tough kill too. It's got 2 toughness. S tier. I'm telling y'all, S tier stuff right here. Okay. Got excited about my Tenacious Pup. Cards like this, Tameo Safekeeping. Time and again, I have seen so many people foil my plans with this card. I run stuff like this in blue, but that green gets something like this too. It's definitely going in the deck. Target permanent you control gets hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, and gain 2 life as a 1 green instant. I love these little 1-drop cantrips that do hexproof or helps protect a creature or something that I have. I try to run like 3 or 4 of these in a deck if they're available in that color identity. Just something to help protect my stuff. Because there are a lot of players out there that are quick to use kill spells or exile effects, stuff that will get your thing off the battlefield in a hurry. And having this in hand and leaving 1 extra mana open when I hit pass turn has saved me so many times. Again, as a blue variant, but now seeing that green has this too, I will be using this. +1/+1 counter on target creature and untap it. So kind of like a little surprise, huh? We're gonna block with an extra creature, and it grows it too. That for me is what I think is gonna make it worth it. Is it helps grow the creature. Search for a basic land card for 1 green, or the proliferates. That's a solid card. Put +1/+1 counter on target creature, or it can enter as a land. For the same reason as this one, I think we're going to say let's try it. Wild Shape instant. Choose one. Until end of turn, target creature you control has that base power and toughness, becomes that creature type, and gains that ability. So for 1 green mana, it can become a 1/3 turtle with hexproof. Okay, that's instantly in. I read the word 1 mana instant hexproof. That satisfies the requirement we're looking with this. But it can also be used to make a 1/5 spider with reach, or a 3/3 elephant with trample. I love it. I love it. I love seeing that hexproof for 1 mana. This guy, ooh, yeah, 1 green with Ward 2. That one seems nice. Ward 2, I'm telling you. Ward 2 is a powerful mechanic. Does your opponent really want to pay 2 extra mana to have to deal with this thing? It can often mean a difference of them playing a kill spell and something else out of their hand, or them spending their whole turn just to play the kill spell. Permeating Mass. Oh, look at that art. Whenever Permeating Mass deals common damage to a creature, that creature becomes a copy of Permeating Mass. What? That's whether it's blocking or attacking. Weird. Okay, so then if I make, they attack into me, I block with this, their creature becomes a Permeating Mass, and then I attack into them, I could be attacking into their Permeating Mass, making my things Permeating Mass. What an interesting card. I have an entire board full of Permeating Masses. Wow. For 1 green, though, to have a 1/3 that does that, I like it. I like it. I can see the downside on the opposite side of the board, but by itself, a 1/3 for 1 green and it can help shut down my opponent's side of the board. I think it's curious. I want to see it more for the meme of it. Long list of the Ents. If I have a variety of creature types, I feel like this is going to be a nice one to have. I'm not like excessively strong on one type of creature. This actually seems, so far, like it might be a good fit. Alright, what does that put us for our 1-drops? We're at 12. Okay, that was it for, let's call that good for green. Let's go back to red. +1/+0 and has menace. Whenever deals combat damage to a player or battle, create a treasure token. I love menace. Okay, and that gives +1 power, menace. It's only 1 to bring out. I like that part. I like that part a lot. And the equip cost isn't terrible. It's only 2. And it can help ramp with treasure tokens. I like cards like this. These a little surprise first strike instance. And this one in particular, because it also has the option to the +3/+0. So in that kind of category of the first strike instance, this is one of my favorites. I like this card a lot. I wouldn't say it commonly hits and is super effective, but it's definitely been valuable enough for me to keep around. It can be a lifesaver, taking out little things with 1 toughness, like let's say they're Llanowar elves. It's out there, or some other elf that has 1 toughness and it's producing mana for them. Wipes them out. Little 1/1 tokens, little soldiers or artifact tokens with 1 toughness. Wipes them out. I have found it more useful than not. So I like running this card. When Goblin Trap Finder dies, seek a creature card with mana value 3 or less. That card perpetually gains haste. This spell costs 1 less to cast. And at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this creature. I could see this having a nice effect. Let's try it out. I like this one that it puts a first strike counter on it. So the first strike remains even after that turn is over. Versus first strike until end of turn. And then scry 1. But it's only until end of turn. Whereas this one puts a first strike counter on it. Yeah. Kind of some emergency. Need to reach into my library. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Create a monster roll token attached to it. Monster roll says enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. +3/+1 until end of turn. For 1 red mana. And it's given it trample. And it's an instant. I like it. This thing has potential. How's our 1-drops? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green. Wow, that worked well. Now we need to finish off our haste enablers. So what do we got? We have 4 haste enablers. I think I want to add a couple more. Rabbit battery's nice. It's 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's a good number. It's also this one. I'm feeling yes on that one. Oh, this one's a good one too. Yeah, because this one's only 2 mana. And it's a 0/4. I would rather run this one than that Tuk Tuk Rebel Fort. Swiftfoot Boots. That's the one I wanted. Because it also gives hexproof and haste. Helps protect my creatures. I like that this one gives +2/+0 for a single casting cost and a single equip cost. With a lot of upside. Tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. I've seen these to be valuable. I like those ones. We're going to keep this number at 40 for our land count. I'm not going to run mana rocks. Pathways, I love pathways. 2 or more other lands, great. Unless you control a mountain or forest, yes. You may pay 2 life. Okay. Alright. We're at 40. The rest will be basics. I don't usually run these ones that are guaranteed to enter tapped. I almost always just look for the ones that have an unless statement. Or this one didn't say unless. This one says if you don't enters tapped. This one says enters tapped unless you do this. Unless. And then I love the pathways just because they're one or the other. And I choose when I play it. No tapping. Oh, I am running those 2 cards. The flip cards. This one, Vastwood Fortification, could also be a land. Now, here's the question. Do I count it toward my 40 land count? Or do I not? Because if I do count it toward my 40 land count, then I could be relying on this as a tapped land. And that kind of goes against what I was just saying, where I want the card to have a potential to be untapped. Let's go halfway. Since I'm running 2 of these flip cards, let's count them as half land and half spell. So between 2 of them, I'm going to cut 1 land. Okay. So now we're at 39 actual lands, but then with the 2 flip cards, we really have 41. We need to work on our army now. What do we have for gold? 4 mana to distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. That seems useful. And on the creature part, it's 2 mana for a 2/2. Whenever a Picnic Ruiner attacks while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Picnic Ruiner gains double strike until end of turn. I like the distribution of 3 +1/+1 counters. I could see that being a game changer on the battlefield. Menace 7/5. Oh, that's a big boy. 7/5 Menace. That is nothing to trifle with. But it's 5 initial to drop it. That 5 initial drop cost is what's making me hesitant. But I love that backside. With how much I like the back of this card, I want to try it out. I've seen how aggressive this card can be. Strong card. Helps reduce an attacker. And also helps remove blockers out of the way. That seems strong. This one helps produce mana when it attacks. As long as it's your turn, you and Gruul Spellbreaker have hexproof. It's got Riot and Trample. It's a 3/3 for 3 mana. It can enter with haste or with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. It fits the theme of the deck. It's got that built-in haste, and it can be more powerful if we need it. Whenever Rubble Belt Riders attacks, it gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Ooh. It comes in for 3 mana with haste. Let's try it. This guy doesn't even necessarily need to be in a werewolf deck to be useful. Like itself, it's a 3/3 that helps draw cards. We're going to try it out. Let's look at our green. 5 mana, we can have a 6/6 with Trample. Or it's just a 2/2 for 2. I mean, that 5 mana, so 2 casting and a 3 kicker, to get 4 +1/+1 counters, making it a 6/6. And then it gives itself Trample. That's a fairly slim cost for that powerful of a creature. We'll throw it in. I like this one. For 2 mana, we get a 3/2 creature. Pay 1. You can sacrifice it to choose 1. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or proliferate. I like it as a 3/2 for 2 mana. And it's got some removal upside. This one's pretty cool. Deeproot Wayfinder. 2 mana for 2/3. Whenever Deeproot Wayfinder deals combat damage to a player or battle, surveil 1. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I like that it's only 2 mana and it comes out as a 2/3. Easy to attack with, hard to take care of. And when it gets that combat damage trigger, helps me sift through the library. And maybe even help me ramp some land. I know how strong Gallagreators can be. You're in. I'm thinking Pack Tactics is going to be fairly easy with this deck. And this guy's just going to keep growing every time it attacks. At 2 mana. I'm kind of on the fence about this Kappa Tech Wrecker one. Enters play with the Death Touch counter on it. It's going to be a 1/3. Most of the time, it's going to be sitting at home. That's a threatening blocker. 1/3 with Death Touch. It has that upside of taking care of a pesky thing that they may have. Be it artifact or enchantment. Comes up quite frequently in games. And I was just thinking about rounding out my deck with a few of those. And here is one on a creature form with Death Touch. So we are going to put that one in. Here's another one. Okay, 2 mana for 2/2. You pay 1 mana just to directly sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Don't have to wait for it to deal damage. I like that one a lot. I want to try this one. Puts a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it leaves behind a 1/1. Or can proliferate. I think this one's going to have some good value in the deck. Alright, 6 slots left. Let's start looking at some more powerful spells. Excavation Roll is good. 3/3 trample for 3 mana. I like Contagious Vorak. It's a 3/3 for 3 mana. It can proliferate, or if we need, we can go get a land. Alright, so we're going to put Contagious Vorak in. Vigilance Trample for 3 mana. Okay, this one is already beating that Excavation Mole. And when enters battlefield, create a treasure token. Okay, if I was on the fence about Excavation Mole, this one's a no-brainer. Lurking Roper is an interesting one. It's a 4/5 for 3 mana, which is fantastic stats. But it doesn't untap during the untap step. Whenever you gain life, untap Lurking Roper. I don't think this one's going to be heavy on life gain, but it's also a 4 or 5 for 3 mana. I don't necessarily have to attack with it. It could just be a very threatening body that just stays back as a defender. And it's only 3 mana. That's going to stop a lot of attackers. I'll put it in. I like it's a 3/3 for 3. Good solid threat range. And it has that landfall upside of producing additional mana. I can see this one producing some good value. Mostly as a body, 3/3 for 3 mana. But with that upside of occasionally providing an extra mana. When Pridewalkin enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. I could see it being good. A 3/4 for 3 that has a variety of options. I like that one. That puts us at 100 cards. Alright, so now to try a few rounds, see how the deck plays. And probably end up doing some tweaks, but excited to see how this works.